Hi everyone, this is nothing but a liberal who loves politically correct superhero movies here, and today we're going to review Vice. Vice was written and directed by Adam McKay. Adam McKay is an American filmmaker, screenwriter, producer, comedian, and actor. If you like Will Ferrell movies, then there's a good chance you've seen at least one of Adam McKay's many screwball comedies, including Anchorman, Talladega Nights, or Step Brothers. I did like Anchorman, but I wouldn't exactly call myself a huge fan of Adam McKay comedies. I still to this day do not like Step Brothers. I don't care what anyone says, that movie sucks. But I loved Adam McKay's last film, The Big Short, which marked a huge change of pace for him as a filmmaker, where we saw him go from making these disposable comedies to tackling more serious subject matter. If you haven't watched it, please do. It's a very smart, funny, and tragic look at the people behind the scenes who predicted the subprime mortgage crisis in 2008. And with that said, I was super excited for Vice. Loved the trailer. This film looked like it would just be a continuation of Adam McKay's new directing style, where he would tackle another story about corruption within America at a very high level. This time, he goes after the US vice president from the Bush years from 2001 to 2009, who was so hated by the time that he left office, he only had a 13% approval rating.
One of the things you got to fuck yourself, Mr. Cheney. You got to figure out what to do with all of the debris.
Christian Bale plays the vice president. This is like his 5th extreme body transformation. His body must hate him. He needs to stop doing this or he's probably going to die. Guys, Vice was very hit or miss for me. I really didn't know how I felt after I watched this movie because there's lots of parts I like and lots of other parts I don't like. If I were to describe this movie in one word, it would be exhausting. By the time this film was about halfway through, I was so fatigued by Adam McKay's incessant filmmaking gimmicks and metaphors. Vice takes the same hyperactive approach to filmmaking as The Big Short did, but it triples down on it to the point that Vice just kind of becomes an exercise in style over substance. Adam McKay spends so much time overcomplicating so many scenes with these flourishes of heavy-handed montages that it makes a lot of the film just feel really tedious. The actor credits don't even show up until about 10 to 15 minutes into this film. After this long-winded voiceover that's supposed to give us an overview of who Dick Cheney was as a person, that's paired up with these incoherent montages of drone bombings, torture, and other stuff Dick Cheney was partially responsible for. By the time the actor credits showed up, I was thinking to myself, why didn't you just get this out of the way earlier in the film? What is the purpose of showing this now? There's so many parts of the story that just feel like it's just rushed through, like the part where Dick Cheney shoots that poor guy that had to apologize to him. The film spends like maybe 3 minutes tops on that scene, so it really didn't have much of a reason to be there. And when the film does manage to stay more focused during the dialogue scenes, Adam McKay will throw a wrench into it with these really on-the-nose visual metaphors. Some of them I didn't mind, others were really annoying though, like the image of a fisherman reeling in a fish, which Adam McKay uses over and over again as Cheney gains more and more power throughout the movie. Like, okay, Adam, we get it. Oh, you don't have to show us anymore, please. Calling this film a narrative is almost inaccurate. It's so experimental and so abstract that it's really hard to make sense of how this film is structured. What makes me so torn on this film is that even though I think these stylistic choices end up hurting the film more often than not, it still does make Vice feel very unique. This is one of the weirdest and most bizarre biopics I have seen in a while. A lot of people, including passionate liberals, are going to hate this film because it's just way too polarizing and eccentric for normal audiences. I'm not saying this movie is good just because a lot of people are going to hate it. I just think it goes to show that this film is genuinely different and not for everyone. And with all of the safe crowd-pleasing crap that I've seen recently, I can really appreciate Adam McKay's approach to some extent. One technique that works very often in this film are the fantasy sequences. Sometimes they're just meant to be funny, other times they're meant to be more symbolic. I love the sequence where we see what would have happened if Dick Cheney had not ran for vice president and just settled down with his family. As you see this nuclear family having a great time, just enjoying each other, the film rattles off all of these fictionalized accounts of what each member of the Cheney family would go on to do, like how Lynn Cheney would go on to write like 7 books or something. I also also love the fantasy sequence where Dick Cheney and the closest members of his staff go to this nice restaurant, and the waiter, played by Alfred Molina, offers them all of these shitty neoconservative policies like rendition, enhanced torture in Guantanamo Bay. I love the way this scene was set up and how it looks. It comes off as this dark, smoke-filled back room where you have these evil people coming up with some of your most feared conspiracy theories that you lose sleep over. It's a little heavy-handed, but that scene to me was a great display of how this person had become so powerful that getting whatever terrible policies he wanted at that point was simple as just ordering something on a menu. When this film does find time to be normal and not rely on fantasy sequences or ADHD-laced imagery, the performances really shine. Christian Bale is excellent. Again, his performance is one of the best I've seen this year, and all of the supporting actors are also very good as well. One of the most powerful moments in the film is a very subtle and subdued one where we have a young and inexperienced Dick Cheney ask Donald Rumsfeld what they believe in. Rumsfeld, played by Steve Carrell, simply just doesn't answer and starts laughing his ass off. It was such a funny and powerful scene that really says so much about these powerful people and the important decisions they're making in such a reckless and selfish way. Unfortunately, a lot of the characters in this film get little to no character development. There's not nearly enough George Bush in this film, which left me kind of disappointed because Sam Rockwell plays a great George Bush. There's also a part of me that thinks that they purposely didn't have him in the film that much to show how absent George Bush was during the entire tenure of his presidency. The only characters that this film takes a fairly appropriate amount of time to develop is Dick Cheney, Lynn Cheney, and Donald Rumsfeld. And even then, I still didn't feel like this film was able to get a meaningful grasp on this main character. You get the sense that he did do a lot of the things he did for his family on a very broad and surface level, but that doesn't explain why he passed all of these shitty policies that doesn't affect his family. There was only one moment where it felt like the film was trying to make sense of why Cheney passed the policies that he passed. It comes in the form of a last-minute rant where Dick Cheney breaks the fourth wall and explains that he was aggressive on foreign policy and other policies so that he could prevent another 9/11 from happening. But that rant, like many other things, feels ill-conceived and out of place. I appreciate how abstract and bizarre this film is, but it just doesn't feel like there's enough of a structure to make meaning of this boring, vile old man. I'm gonna give Vice a 3 out of 5. Guys, thanks for watching this review. I really appreciate it. Be sure to leave your thoughts on Vice in the comment section below. Leave a recommendation on a film that I should watch and review next while you're down there. Be sure to check out the other content on my channel. I got some other reviews that you might be interested in, like my previous review on the Mule. Hit the like button if you like this video, or share this video, or both, whichever you prefer. And if you dig the channel, then subscribe to the channel. Thanks again, ladies and gentlemen. This is your favorite liberal guy who likes politically correct superhero movies, and I'm signing off until next time.